på. Okay. Let's see. Bender. Ooh. Well, it seems everything is what I did order. Somewhat finishing things that are a little bit what they are. Let's see, I will take this out anyway. There we go. This kind of thing. 16-ton capability. seems it works. Yep. Like so. Okay. Weighs like a million tons. Whew. Let's see. There is this Vevors again. I am not sponsored by anything, but I want to show you this thing. Excuse me, changing the viewing point. Like so. 16-ton hydraulic pipe bender, and I have this subject here. Somewhat acid-proof or stainless pipe that has been somewhat bended, and now I want to use it somewhat as a test subject. So let's see, I have to take right size. This thing is somewhat brand new. I did not take only one of these tools out of the cover itself, and it tells it's 1 inch and 1-4. Maybe. I think it could be that. And now we will insert the tool in a place. And let's see. I should sometime build a table to show these things, but I cannot do anything right now to that. So much things to do. So this have to do now, right now. And basically this is my first time to bend anything with my own tools, so bear with me. This is learning curve. And clearly these are way too tight. So the next hole, same thing here. And if I have a lathe, I can show you. This is that much I know of these things. That see, these rolls, as you saw them, there is a free play upside and downside. This let's just say horizontal way play is more important than this vertical. How much or how will you see it? But what I mean is this side movement, up and down. That is bad, if I might say that way. It won't, well, at least not much, affect the bending results, but anyway it will affect, because it will give some free play that when you are bending something, these like back rolls should be as precise as possible, because you want precise angles, and when these give away some free movement, it will somewhat change the end results. Perhaps this thing it's not like well, it will get the job done, don't get me wrong. But if I had a lathe, I made these pins much more, like you can see it here. These pins has somewhat too big clearance to this hole even. And these rolls have even more. So there is a way to make some better, like maybe even do some parts that will go inside here to the rolls, these rollers. Like, well, basically you could even make these rolling bearings that can hold huge amount of stress without breaking. They could go in here. Then you can make a smaller pin somewhat. But anyway, let's try this thing. And we will decide that it must be the middle point. And this way that I want to bend. And it must be this way. And like I said, this is not only like a my first try, and well, this piece is a test, nothing more. Let's see how this thing does it even work as it should. I did not make any measurements or anything. I just want to see how this thing works with you. At least it will raise the I mean, this bottle jack is okay, at least. And obviously nobody wants to work on the ground, so you maybe want to make some holes here that you can attach to this table or somewhere, because it's obvious that this thing, when you can start to pump like 5 tons and more, the forces are huge in this area, and there is a 16-ton capacity. Well, you can imagine how good it is doing to your back or your knees or anywhere. So, but you can catch my drift. Yeah. Let's see what is going on here. And this is what it's going to do when there is enough force that you must keep your hand here, and you should use your force to this handle, not half here and half here. So anyway, there's perhaps enough. Now I like to try to get this pipe somewhat straight, so let's see what I did achieve from that turning event. We can, well, I don't know, can camera see them very well, but here is the roller points, and I can feel that the tool itself, the most part, the stressful part was here. So the middle part, obviously. And now we can do that again, but let's do it that one roller is in here and the tool is here and the rest of the rollers are here. Like so. be like that way, and let's see. These rollers has way too much free play in even my tasting. I will bring you here to see. Well, there is not so much to see, but this free play, even now, way too much. Oh, my knee. And on the way you can tell, does this thing do anything it should do, by looking that the line either of these sides from the top, you cannot say is there happening anything. Okay, let's see. Put that back to close position. Well, at least, well, I don't know, can you see it so clearly, but I'd say the two spots that I did bend, well, it is much more straighter than it was before. Now let's do the same thing, but from here. Same thing. Check that the line itself is straight. That I'm not bending it like too much curvature. And from there, let's pump. And that free play thing, that is stupid. And I don't know about this frame itself. This is somewhat like a under. Well, I take a measure this caliper here. Let's check how thick this frame itself is. Yeah, 6 millimeters thick plating this whole frame. Well, if these these bottom and top weldings are okay, they seem so, can handle like a 5 tons. I don't know, can this frame without any reinforcing, can it handle 10 tons or even that 16 tons? Because to me 6 millimeter thick frame, well, it's not that thick that you can think. If this would be like a, well, 10 millimeters, like 1 centimeter, would be pretty much overkill, I can tell that. But maybe 8 millimeters, this could be a like thing that I would think it can handle. Because, well, of course, this machine is not taking this whole 16 tons of force like it's in frame. It's here that is the stress point is in here and on these rollers, of course. But still, this frame is somewhat too brittle for my tasting. But yeah, let's continue. Yeah. And from this end I could tell when it's straight, when I'm looking through that pipe, that I can see through it, but not just now. Okay, I mean not just yet. Okay, and I will change the position, the nearest possible place that it can be, like in here, like so. The problem is that this will move too freely in this frame. So you have to be very careful when you are doing straight pipe bending. You can easily do this swaying movement here, that it won't be a straight afterwards. And also, well, that position you can see, perhaps here is too much free play also. Oh, well, I think this will do the trick and work, but it could be much more better quality at least. But with the pipe bending itself, it should be enough. We are not shooting with this. My key. Okay. But I already can see that this frame is taking some well, it will move very violently when it's having this bending. I would like to do such bending still from like this position still. If I can get this pipe straight, nice. No matter if I cannot, because well, this is my first time to try thing. And also these holes, they can be anywhere with these pins, because there is no such thing that you have to keep it like closest as possible. You can put it like wider, but there are these things that I don't know. I'm not any kind of metal worker that level that I can say what kind of else or what kind of things you can do with these bending machines. Let's see. Well, At least from the end of this pipe I can see that it's been much more like a banana. And maybe this sun will show you to the camera lens the places. It will leave these small bumps to the place. As I said, these rollers should move when the bending starts. Now that it will stay on the one place, it will start to accumulate these small bumps, which somewhat is bad, because if you want just have a straight pipe that has a some kind of curvature without any outside damage, and the that inside of that or the tool side, let's just say that way, it won't leave as a deep dent or bump. Well, this side is a little bit dented, and there is a also dent, but way much smaller. And we have to remember this pipe is not. This is like somewhat 2 millimeters, somewhat thick pipe. This will react way much dramatic to these movements as the like thick wallet or even the solid iron that you want to bend. So at least now we know this is not anything to cry about, because we are not going any beauty contest with this. But the smaller pipe perhaps reacts differently, and the more is this thickness, or the wider pipe itself will react differently also. But I would like, that much I know, that these rollers, they should start to roll even the smallest movements, because that is their work. They should roll. When you climb like a 1 millimeter per stroke, these should roll as much like they should roll. I don't know the specific numbers, but when they are staying one place, they will create dents. If they roll, they will leave a way much smaller dent than like the thick stationary roller or the surface that will react the movement itself. I should try to make this even somewhat more curvature to this pipe, but I want to use this, so I just want to make it straight, or straighter than it was. I should make basically two straightening rounds, then this would be somewhat straight. But in my usage this is okay with these results. Obviously this curvature that this pipe had before my touching was done with the like a specific pipe bender there's no any sign of that this had any kind of bending, because the thing that had bent this was a specific tool that works as it's intended to do, not anything like these pumps. And no matter even if this is bended and we will bend it straight back, the same machine does that without any clear markings. Yeah, you can use these machines to do such thing. And yeah, we'll take you see the closer, somewhat closer. There is these two returning springs, and the tool attachment itself, it's really easy. Just take it off and put it back on. So this is very easy to use, at least. But the main point with these rollers, I will show you the whole thing. Take this with my hands. We can see what I'm talking about. As you can see, there is no any kind of bearings that they might or even should be some not ball bearings, but the roller ones that can handle stress. Not moving speed, but only the stress itself. Like I said, if I have a lathe, I probably check the nearest of this diameter, make the that somewhat close enough that the roller bearing would fit here in this place, so I can get that do it what it is intended to do. And the middle pin itself should be not this much free play. This is way too much, and like I said, when it locks it in a place, it won't roll freely under the stress. So yeah, this is bad. In my case, nothing major, perhaps and hopefully, but if somebody wants to make something nice with these, you probably want here a roller bearings both sides. The difference of the outcome of how these things look after the bearings are installed are way much better than this. But when you are buying somewhat affordable, excuse me my English, but cheap, let's just say, cheap tools, you cannot get everything. At least, well, this was somewhat decent amount of money. I don't remember how much it's cost, but with this and my machines that I have, we can solve my problems and the machine problems somewhat easily and without too much costing, and somewhat decent outcome. So now you know the well, I can maybe get some specific name or what is this model, I mean, if you want to have this thing on yourself, because it's not much, under 200 euros if I don't remember wrongly. But it will do job decently, but there is room of improvement. And this basically, I think, is normal ferrite black iron, which can be, let's hear it. Well, nothing like a steel, I might say. So, the nearest rolling bearing size to this, or if that's not possible, there might be a way to make a lathe adapter here that it will fit that adapter, and you can somewhat make that to fit in that space where this roller is, meaning cutting somewhat here from this point away that material that it will fit, and install that adapter somewhat. I don't remember how small the smallest rolling bearings are, but anyway, that might be the only upgrade I do to this, because that will affect the outcome dramatically. So we will see when I'm start bending these hydraulic pipes and so on with this machine. I and hope that it won't squeeze the pipe itself to the like a closest. I might not bend 90 degrees bendings, depends. I have to make some iron wire this, well, pre-planning with the iron wire how much I have to bend some places and so on forth. But yeah, I have to maybe measure this and check out. I would like to. I have a place where is a lathe that it could fit the rolling bearings in here. That the pin itself could be thicker even, and it's no bad thing because these holes on the frame are bigger than this pin itself. It could be a perfect fit, and the end results would look much more better. Yeah, those are the let's just say minus sides of this tool. I do believe that bending force is way much that anybody needs, because, well, if you are not like bending this thick like solid iron then you would need that whole 16 tons, but the pipe itself won't need that much. Maybe like a 4 tons is enough, but that is my opinion only. Anyway, this is the Vevor version of pipe bending machine, or hand tool even. But the installing itself, it's easy, it's not heavy. Obviously do not use it like this way, and there is no any attaching point to the table. You have to drill it or some other way to get higher, and that way that you can use your both hands at the handle, not like I show you that this is like a tipping over when you are doing some work on it. Yeah, the pump itself feels like somewhat okay quality. it's painted, and there is this oil removal, and you can even put more oil in if you are using this much more frequently, but I doubt it, because if you are keeping this like safe place, dry, safe, nothing too like a harsh environment, it will last. Yeah, these are basically cast iron. Well, excuse me. That is not just iron. This might be even something, I don't say it could be a steel, but can be hardened iron, not steel. But because steel is making same sound, but the weight itself, I'd say this is only hardened, these tools. But they can take a heat, no wonder. But yeah, that kind of... Oh, by the way, there is markings 32 and another side is 1 and 1-4. Perhaps 32 millimeters, this tool's wideness, and same thing with the inches. Anyway, I cannot say it's worth of the money if you evaluate how much it's leaving the marks at the ending results, or at the ending aftermath when you have done your bending. But it's cost effective somewhat. It will do your work. The little bit cost of the, well, as you saw. I could say, if you are not bending with your like a business, do not do not use this at your business. But hobbyist like me, good quality enough. That doesn't have to be anything more specific, except, like I said, those rolling bearings. And by the way, there is, I will count 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Come on now. There is 8. Okay. As I was saying, after the explosions and so on. Yeah, there is 8 of these tools, and well, it became my place like a very good strapped on the pallet, this specific here, and it was strapped on. This is Vevor pallet, so at least from that viewpoint they will come to your place protected very good. And basically it has this very thick cardboard box that has these tool parts are like formed, not formed, but the softened hits, and there is no like these things can hit with these corners that will break the painting or anything that kind of deal. So overall, so much with small money, the cost of the quality of the ending results, but there are things that can improve that ending results are somewhat better. Anyway, my version of this introduction of this pipe bending machine, I probably take a look, is there like a model name or something where you can check it out and buy it somewhere. And there is a way much different version of these pipe benders, but this specific one that I own has seen some working now, and you already saw that what you can expect from it and so on. If my talking makes any sense and so on, but yeah, I'm not perfect being, and I am not trying to be one. So anyway, this was my video of that tool. I might set up it some table and so on. We will see this thing in action in some other video. So see you in next videos, and hopefully you did like the introduction and some some explosion behind the scenery, but anyway, that was not intended. But anyway, see you. Bye bye.